Hi, my name is Mike Smith. I'm going to do a video about death and birth and the illusion of death and birth. This is kind of a controversial subject, but it's probably the most beautiful truth you'll ever come across, and it'll probably answer a lot of questions and really help remove a lot of fear that we have in this world. The most fearful thing we have is death. We fear death. And we have this fear of death because we have a fear that we are going to die. That there's actually a Mike that's going to die. So let's take a look at how to see through that, as that's just being a story and that there's really no truth to it. We've got many different near-death experiences, stories that come to us over and over again. We've read books, and all of them say there is no death. I've read hundreds of these, and they all have the same message: there is no death. If you take a look at your own life and look at moments that have taken place, you have an experience. I was just walking down the trail to come to this spot. That experience and that walk down the trail and that story is dead. But am I dead? As this energy of presence that was felt, there's an energy of presence that was felt as I walked down the trail. That energy of presence is full, and now it sits here in the same place. That is dead, but yet this is still alive. That's how death works. It's an illusion. A couple of personal experiences I can share with you. I sat by my mother's bed the night before she died. And my mother had a lot of issues. She was bipolar, schizophrenic, and her life was up and down mentally. The night before she died, she opened up into a very clear, open space. I sat next to her, and I felt and knew that that space never dies, and that that's who she was, and that she'll never die. I also knew and recognized that space as something that I felt in deep meditation, as something that I have sensed as presence in my life. So that was my first experience with death. And that made me believe, hands down, there is no death. And if you take that experience, that presence that's there, and you ask the question, well, what was I before I was born? Who was I before I was born? These are great questions. Who and what was I before I was born? You'll find that before you were born, you were this presence that's here now. This is who you are. This is what you are before you were born. This presence of right here. So birth itself is just a story. Birth is basically the movie appearing on the screen. That's all it is. And death is the same thing. It's the movie ending from the screen. That's all that is. One more story I can share with you is, and this is a beautiful one. I was one day laying on a couch, and I was looking at this big, beautiful window. And I was watching the clouds. And I had a visitation from, I have to say, spirit guides. What it was is it was a little baby. It was like a little Gerber baby with his hands like this. Blue eyes, curly hair. And the baby whispered to me. Now the voice of the child was one voice, and then behind it were two others, and they were all whispering together. So it was one whisper of three people. And the baby said, "Do you want to see death?" I said, "Sure, show me." And then at that point let go, and I saw it was like a black ring, and then inside the black ring was this white, it's the typical white light you hear about. I went into it. And the one thing I remember was when I was in that, I did not care about my daughter, my kids, my family, anybody. I didn't care at all about them. The memory of them was just like a dream that I had had. So the question is, when you wake up in the morning, do you care about the characters that you dreamt last night? Do you go, oh my gosh, I have to get back to them? No, they were just characters. My own children became that, and I didn't care. So how magnificent must that be when our consciousness opens up so greatly? It can be so amazing that we actually don't even care about that. The other thing I remember noticing was if someone had said to me, would you like to experience death every 5 minutes the rest of your life? I would say, where's the button? I'll push it right now. I didn't care. That was so profound. The experience of that was so profound that it was beautiful. I have no fear of death at this moment. Now, the other question that begs to be answered is the presence that I always speak about, this presence here, is that within the experience I had of death? And the answer is yes. But again, the screen illuminates in different ways. So the screen here now illuminates as these trees and this lake and me. And in another area, when we go into this story of death, the screen then illuminates as a whiteness, as a pure consciousness of light. So these are different ways of looking at death. The most important message I want to give you today is that there is none. There is no death. It's as simple as that. You don't die because there is no you. There never has been a you. You are just a presence of peace, a presence of energy. That's all you are. And that message should be enough to allow you to go now live and play fearlessly in life. Live and play and enjoy life fully. That's why we're here, to explore. Today, listen. What is here? Is this different today than it was yesterday? This silent stillness, presence, energy, this open peace and grace. Is this different today than it was 3 days ago? What is here? Thank you.